Hello and welcome back to Jesus Now Eschatology. My name is Pastor Andy. Today I want to talk to you about disillusionment and specifically how AI has increased our societal disillusionment and detachment from reality and why that matters, how it's impacting us on a really spiritual and emotional level, and talk about just how do you actually take a biblical framework to reality and when the world is very much engaged with and interested in non-realities, or let's just call them synthetic realities. Okay, so let's start with just defining the terms. There's really a growing discontent with the world right now, and I just saw it yesterday really clearly in a post by one of my friends who wrote that he just doesn't feel like there's anything sincere anymore, that even the people who care about him or profess to care about him don't really care. And kind of this feeling like, hey, I love the people around me, but I feel like there's just a disconnect. Like I'm looking for authentic connection. I'm looking for authentic friendship and something meaningful among my friend group, and I'm not getting it. Maybe you felt that way. I know I've definitely felt that way. I just had a birthday. I love birthdays. Birthdays are great. But I had a lot of people commenting on my wall because the computer told them to and reminded them it's Andrew's birthday, which is great, right? I love hearing from people saying happy birthday on my birthday is very special, right? But there was a time when only your friends knew it was your birthday and only your friends had it on their calendar, and they might even bake you a cake. They might show up at your door. They might hang out with you or take you out for a meal or something, right? There was a time when happy birthday meant more than just, I'm going to spend a few seconds typing it on your Facebook wall, right? What's changed is a computer has prompted someone to say a certain word to someone else. And what's the problem at all with that, right? I need computers to remind me to do things. I need computers in my schedule. The problem really is that the authentic connection of happy birthday is not there anymore. It's not organic. It's machine prompted. I had a few friends use AI avatars to make these little videos where they would, their AI avatar hands my AI avatar a birthday cake and woohoo, and isn't that funny? It's like just like a comic, right? There's nothing true being communicated. It's just haha, funny and interesting, right? My little AI guy gives your little AI guy a cake. Well, there would have been a real sentiment of love there if there was a real cake. I like cake. Somebody wants to bring me a cake, of course I'm going to be like, woohoo! But I'm not picking on anybody either, because the computer suggested to even my friends to do this, right? But it suggests, hey, you should send them this little AI generated video, and it portrays a connection that's not really there. Maybe everybody wishes it was there. Maybe everybody wishes they could bring a cake to their best friend on their birthday, right? Maybe everybody wishes they could bring a cake to their not so best friends on their birthday, and they just long for that connection. So they post that right to the wall. And from me on the receiving end, I also just long for authentic connection as well. And so I think underneath the surface level, we're seeing a big shift away from real cake bringing. Let's just call it that for just a second. My friend, when he communicates, hey, I feel like there's just not an authentic relationship. I'm not feeling like I'm authentically connecting with anyone. There's really a reason why. And part of that reason why is artificial intelligence. Artificial is part of the word. It's not actually a person even creating these things. It's a computer that's creating these things. So why do you feel like there's not a real connection? Well, there's not a real person It's a person who's being controlled even by a machine, or being suggested what to do by a machine. If you don't think that's control, well, it is. Somebody being told what to do by a computer and then doing those things, that's very mechanical. Okay. Is there anything wrong specifically with that? No, but that's why there's a lack of authentic connection. Next, that was a case in point number one. Here's the second one. Today, I was looking for information about a printer I could buy that could print on envelopes. Okay, so I type that in. I need a good envelope printer. Best envelope printer. Type it into Google, fire away. And I get a few suggested posts, that you can't trust the suggested posts. So I'm looking for a video. I'm looking for somebody who's got experience printing envelopes. So I click the first result, and the video is called Best Printer for Envelopes in 2023. I'm thinking, yeah, if I've got a chance, here we go. So I click it, right? And here comes this guy, and he says words like, envelope printing aficionados. Are you tired are you tired of not getting your neatly printed on your envelopes? I've arrived to rescue you from your printing quagmire. In today's delightful video, we'll be diving into the realm of envelope printers. This guy is not even an English native speaker, and he's using words that I don't even know if he understands these words himself, but he's saying words like quagmire, like aficionados. He says, I'm going to give you the creme de la creme of envelope printers. And I'm like, wow, either this guy really knows his stuff, or this whole video is scripted by an AI. And as he dives into the script, and he's speaking the script, it's a 3-month-old video, you can tell this is not his own original idea. He has probably no experience printing envelopes. He rattles off a few model numbers of a few types of printers, doesn't really talk about how many envelopes fit inside the tray, doesn't talk about the jam rate, doesn't talk nothing that you would expect from an expert on the topic. Why does that matter? Well, he's creating a video, and the video is not his. It's been scripted. If this isn't a scripted video, I would be shocked. I mean, it looks like he's reading off a teleprompter, and the teleprompter is probably straight from ChatGPT telling the best model. Oh man. Okay. So anyway, I was looking for connection. I was looking for information, and I didn't find it. I found synthetic information. I found suggested posts. I found all of this AI content that was really driving me towards choosing a certain printer type. Okay, well, what's the problem there, Andy? Again, there wasn't an authentic connection. There's disillusionment instead. There's fake when I was hoping for real. You know what I mean? Maybe you felt that way. Have you ever felt like you were searching for something? You were getting a Facebook because you were hoping to connect even better with friends, but instead you're connecting worse. Or you dove into, sharing about yourself on Facebook, and you're hoping that somebody's going to notice and someone's going to care. And instead, the type of care feels really distant. Nobody is actually showing up to talk with you. They're pretty much content to just send you a platitude or two, or a meme or something. And I think that's where collectively people are starting to feel the angst of the digital age. We're really less than 30 years into this whole experiment known as the internet and the computers and all this personal computer stuff. But in that 30 years, we have seen a rapid decline in just real authentic humanity, to the point where we're now getting to a stage where it doesn't really feel like anyone cares. And that is affecting us all. The digital world, in the midst of its vast opportunity, has an opportunity as well to put a veil in front of our eyes and maybe even keep us from doing some of the things that we really need to do, things that we would really find meaningful and satisfying and helpful. So, defining the terms. What does it mean to have these friendships? I think that's part of the issue is that the meaning of friendship has been pulled out of the word. And so now friend means somebody you met on a bus for 30 seconds. Friend means someone you went to high school with who doesn't even want to talk to you, who's probably not even following your posts anymore. Friend means, it has become a hollow shell of what it was and what it ought to be and what the Bible means by friend and what love means, right? And so we have all of these shells, and it feels like we've become good at collecting them and appreciating these shells, but there's no substance in there. Proverbs 13:12, the Bible says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life." Good words. I think that I see a lot of heart sickness around me. I see a lot of people who are hoping for friends, hoping for relationship, and instead they're getting synthetics. They're getting relationship. They're not getting friends, they're getting friends. They're not getting authentic connections, they're getting connections prompted by a computer. And it's making people heartsick. And people are looking for something more. But I know the answer that they're looking for. And the Bible says, Romans 8, these words, "I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. For the creation was subjected to futility," or vanity in the KJV, "not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in hope, because the creation itself also will be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God." It was God who allowed us to chase after the wind, in the words of Solomon, to have futility and have vanity and have meaninglessness, with a hope in mind that we would turn to him, with a hope in mind that we would be delivered from the bondage of this life. Maybe it doesn't feel like bondage, but you are in bondage to this body of death, the Bible says. This body is going to not last forever, and we were made for forever. We were made for relationships that don't break. We were made for communities that go on and on and on. And inside our hearts, inside our beings, we long for that. We wish we had this eternal friendship and community and belongingness. And we don't get it here on earth. And maybe that's the point that God is making when he gives us over to futility. He's trying to say, this is not all there is. You were made for more than this. And can we just get to that place where we agree with him? Maybe it is a bit of a hard pill to swallow that I'm not going to feel so fulfilled. I'm going to feel some vanity in this world. I'm going to feel some meaninglessness on this side of eternity. But that meaninglessness I feel is pointing me somewhere. And it's pointing me to God. And it's pointing me to Jesus. And so, yeah, do you embrace it? Maybe. To some extent, yes. But I think when we see Christian love, we see authentic love. When we see God's love for us, specifically demonstrated to us through Jesus, we experience true love. And that's really the answer the world is needing right now. They just don't know it. So much of the world has dove off into atheism and a decided unbelief in God, and we don't want that, and blah, 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 don't tell me, and no. They don't realize that of Christianity is the antidote to many of the things that they're feeling. Lack of joy, lack of purpose, lack of connection, disillusionment. So Is it an enemy? Is AI an enemy? At what point do you say that it is? If it's creating a false sense of every single value that we hold so dear, if it's creating lies, if it's telling people a false story, and then they're believing that false story to the extent that they buy the wrong printer, no, to the extent that they lose their way. At what point do you say, hey, that's not okay? We were meant for something better than this. We were meant for something more than just synthetic, robot-made relationships. We were meant for sitting with each other, dwelling with each other, more than just the latest algorithm-suggested Netflix show. But real, meaningful stories that we wrote ourselves. Things that we did together with our friends and community. That we remember and we replay those. Because we actually did those. I wonder if we could get back to that. I hope we can. But part of me thinks that this world is all... It is, like Ecclesiastes says, without God, this world is vanity. With him, there's tons of meaning and purpose and joy. But without him, it is just a chasing after the wind. So to my friend, I guess, the one who's feeling disillusioned and looking for authentic connection, just know that I see you, and I love you, and I care about you, and I wish I could show that somehow. I'm not going to send you a digital cake, but I hope that somehow, some way, there's a way to tell you that and show you that through this digital form of communication. And even if I fail, I pray that the Lord will give us all a chance to be a real, authentic, and loving community for each other in these days when pretty much most of what we see is just fake. Until Jesus comes back, let's be looking for him. He's the real answer the world needs. Take care. God bless.